On Sunday About Life today, we have a very distinguished lady who you can readily call a professional to the core in medicine, and of course, from a family of educationists, I should say. And then, of course, she was married to the former vice president of Nigeria under President Shehu Shagari. And I'm talking of Dr. Mrs. Helen Torisheju Boyo Ekweme. You're very welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And by the way, I know it's less than a year ago. Happy 80th birthday.
Yes.
You know, it's something that we should look up to. You know,
November last year, I stepped onto the 8th floor.
8th floor.
That's the way I put it. And I thank the Almighty God that has brought me to this stage of my life.
We're going to concentrate majorly on education and health. And before we go into other sides of politics and the rest, you know, you were once involved in politics, come to think of it. But let's look at it this way. You know, what discipline of medicine were you involved in?
Okay, I became a doctor. I had my MBBS honors, 1973. Then I went and became a pathologist. I specialized in pathology, and they said pathology is the final diagnosis. You can't just look at a patient and talk and say, okay, this is what is wrong with you. You know, you have to take specimens, you have to take blood, take urine and all. And for whatever you come out, even if they have a lump somewhere, you have to take a bit of it and find out. So that's basically what a pathologist does. Okay. And you have to do the specialization and train in it, in the various aspects of the blood, microbiology, and so on, even the histology. So that's all the aspects.
But then, as a mother,
yes,
as a professional,
yes,
as a medical personnel,
yes,
how did you manage all of these together? And again, you were married to one of the most popular men in Nigeria those days.
That is what they said. They said God created two different beings, the male and the female.
Right.
The male, they have a tunnel, what we call tunnel vision, from what I have seen.
I like to understand that.
He faces one thing, he's good at it, he's an accountant, he's this,
focused.
He's that. Yeah. The woman is the person they call, she's multifaceted. She can do 10 different things at a time. She is the mother in the house. That mother is also the doctor in the house. She's also the teacher. She's the cook. She's doing it all. And she's looking after both husband and children. The husband is number one, the first child, and all. It comes to that. That is it. So to answer your question, you are able to combine a lot of things together. It just depends on how you prioritize and categorize what you do and let it all, you know, gel together. Because at the same time, you still have your profession, you need to have help. True. But these are supervised help, like the help you will have, you know, with your children. For instance, I would have wanted to do, when I was finishing in my 4th year medical school, I would wanted to have become a gynecologist and obstetrician. But by the time I was going through that rotation and I found that if you are that as a female, you are 24 hours, you are catching a baby, something is happening. I felt that is why I chose pathology.
Okay.
It is intentional. I'm interested too, because it's one of the most difficult specialties to go in. But as a pathologist, I can work and then I have a lot of time for my family, for my home.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
As a woman, you can choose all that, you know, which specialty. My colleagues who are gynecologists and all, they find it very difficult because she has the home front. The time she will have to deliver her babies, then she's still going to have her own children, and she's still working. She has to work.
Wow.
So it is difficult to cope. Then especially then you have to look after your husband too. Because as I told you,
the first baby.
Yes, yes, because before those children came, your husband, so everything has to be, as I said, compartmentalized and scheduled.
Yeah.
And then everybody is happy. Mommy is there. Mommy is always there for everybody.
Let
That
me
is
ask you
it.
one question regarding marriage
Yes.
and then your influence on policymakers regarding medicine, health, and all of that. You see, first, let's look at marriage. The way you've spoken about it, it shows that you were able to manage all of them together.
Yes.
How did your husband see all of these and play the role he was supposed to play?
You see, a lot also depends on the man. The man has to cooperate with the woman. We always say, let the man allow the woman to soar. Let him allow her to fly. Don't say you can't do this. You have to be in the house. I have to do this. I have to do this. Whatever your wife achieves is
To your
also
credit.
your own achievement.
True.
Once the man understands that, then he will allow us, and both of them will concentrate. Of course, whether he's a politician or he will come home, there are things worrying you. Okay, this person will say, then you will have your own input. Don't worry, maybe you should cool it down. There is no way the wife is not having an influence on what is happening, in whether the husband is a banker or is this or is that. That is why they said the first ladies are quite important, because the man still has to come home and he still has to stay with his wife, and by the time they are eating and all, they are covered after he's eating,
Right.
all these things. And she's also helping, bringing ideas. If he allows her to contribute, then it is smooth sailing.
As the wife of a public figure,
Yes.
that nature, you also want to look at the psychological well-being of the man.
Yes.
And what do you see your role playing? How did you play that role?
Well, you play it as it comes. You are there. The man knows that you are there as his, I won't say his pillar, as his supporter, being with him. Is somebody he can air his views with. And if you are knowledgeable, and if he decides that he will take your advice, he will also give you advice. He may want some point of view of what a woman thinks about these things, or what is happening. Or he may come and he's annoyed at something, and you will be the one to calm him down. Say, let's calm down. Let's look. And at the same time, as he's there as a public figure, there are so many distractions, so many things dragging. Everybody wants this, even from the family, from the extended family. People want him to do this, they want you to do that. They feel that you have a lot. As a lot of you knew, my husband was already a well-established, rich man. He was the first architect in Nigeria to set up on his own. He has all his architectural firm. Everything was set up. He decided he would go into politics and used his money to it was NPN then,
Yes.
and helped to set them up. You know the famous thing when the military came up and there was a wife for probe. It was Justice Whiteford. He came out and said, this is the first person they are seeing. He came out of politics poorer than when he went in. He declared his assets as everybody was supposed to declare. Many of them would not, or they had some things hidden. He declared everything. And when, at the end, he declared, because that's the first Shagari, this thing was just, that's 4 years. And then they were just about to start the second one when the coup happened.
Right.
So to start the second one, he declared again. A lot of his assets, a lot of properties, he had to sell to fund, because he believed in Nigeria. He believed that this Nigeria, if it is done properly, things will go on. We always say this is the military that came. Of course, the military came. They know the only way is the military. But how about our people? We've had about 25 years. My husband, that time, he declared his assets. He didn't have much anymore, but he always he's been a philanthropist from the word go. As he came out as an architect, he had a Kwame Memorial Trust, educational trust, helping not only people from Igbos, from the Southeast, the Europeans, everybody. If you are good enough, they were going to the US, because he too rose up by being helped, getting
Did
scholarship.
it strike your mind as
Yes.
maybe odd, say, why will he let go everything he has? Almost like,
Well, he didn't really let go. He didn't really let go. He did a lot of things. He had a brother who was a professor of surgery at that time, and he had to resign. This was in 1979, as he was preparing to go into politics. Let go, he resigned from being chairman of so many companies that he had. This man became vice president at the age of 46. Just before getting to 47, but setting up breweries, name it, investment, property development, all these things. So his junior brother, Professor Obuneme Ekweme, professor of surgery, left his work at University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and took over chairmanship of everything,
run those businesses.
of all the businesses, so that they can go on. Because he could not be seen to be doing it. In fact, because they were not supposed to have, at that time, everything was set up, not even supposed to have bank accounts or anything abroad. Our first son, who was in school in England, we had to bring him to King's College. So that, because if your son is schooling abroad, how are you getting the foreign exchange? You are not supposed to have a bank account.
This is interesting.
And he did that.
But that's no longer the case here.
Nobody followed anything like that. Everything has gone haywire. I could go on and on about him and the politics, but we go through all this. He sacrificed. What happened towards the later part of the year? He said, and he formed the PDP. PDP, who was founding father, first chairman and all.
Yeah.
He said, this is not the party that I formed. Let any PDP person come and say that. Here we just have opportunists and brigands now in the party. They are all for themselves, what they can get. The situation should be, if you want to go into politics, it is what you are giving to your country. You do not need to have a whole palace and they give you another house and you go and be building and all this type of thing.
So in your
the
time,
prime minister
Yeah.
in England, they stay in there. They have their own houses. You don't need to have 20 cars. You don't need to have all these things. It's not done. It's not done. And people are telling them, and this should be heard loud and clear.
Yes.
This is what Alex Ekweme stood for. He was a man for the people. And towards the later part of his life, he was not a happy man as to what Nigeria has become.
Because cost of
Let me
governance-
just tell you one little thing,
Yes.
which I feel a bit. If you married a politician, there's no way it doesn't rub off on you. Of course, it rubs off on you, and you are part of it. What are they talking about now? Some people in the house, they are saying they want to go back to let's have one term of presidency, 5 or 6 years, isn't it? Have 2 vice presidents. When he was 70, my husband died at the age of 85. One of the things he put out, he said, let us have 1-term presidency. It was in a symposium. Yes. Let us have 1-term presidency. Let us have 2 vice presidents, because that president is coming from, we have just 3. We have the South, we have 6 anyway.
Yes.
So, and have 2 so that if something happens to the other one, and 2 vice presidents or 3 vice presidents, but only 1 term, and he knows he's doing 1 term. And the next term, it goes to the other geopolitical zone.
Yeah.
Bringing you back. How does geopolitical zone start in Nigeria? Abacha set up a constitutional conference. My husband starts with them at that time. Abuja, 1 whole year, they were sitting and they were meeting. Just about this same restructuring, what is going to happen in Nigeria. He came out with a minority report, which was not the same on this constitutional. He said, let us have 6 regions. In the north, let us have 3. In the south, let us have 3. Northwest, northeast, north central, south, southeast, and southwest regions. And that way, things will rotate. He brought out his report. This same Abacha, in his own mind and in his own ways, he took this report. Up till now, that they are rotating, they are talking about Southeast region. It is not still written in the Constitution, but he took it as a template and started working on it.
That's Abacha.
That is how this thing started. And it went on like that, and we are still working on it. So we have these 6 geopolitical zones, we call it.
Many years later.
That is what is happening. He was a visionary man. He saw all this, and we are still there. The day it will get to Constitution, but that's how we are doing everything. Even the the money they give every month coming from the central to everybody, all that one is divided into 6 according to the, who is producing what or whatever. I can go on and on about this. Sorry.
I'm really
the politics is in there. This is history. People set up these things, but people have what they call memory. I would say it's memory loss. They are
living in denial.
They are in denial. It is all there. It is all written. What they are bringing up now, this is what Alex Ekwueme said 20 years ago. Let us have 1 single term. So the man knows he has to work for that single term.
Yes.
And the other 2 vice presidents are from that south.
Yes.
If the president is south, southeast and southwest, they are the vice presidents. The next time,
North.
And it goes like that.
So rotational.
Rotational. He had a symposium in Abuja.
Let me take your mind to education. In the same vein,
yes,
education seems to have taken a backseat.
Okay.
Like health, We're going on a short break now. When we get back, we'll go into serious talk about education. The same way we've looked at health, that's how we're going to look at education. Because this is history.
It's intertwined even.
Yes.
The health and the education.
So we'll be
all
right
together.
Back. So, welcome back. This is Sonny Rabo Live, and I have Dr. Mrs. Helen Torisheju Boyo Ekwueme. You see, I had to really go to school to learn that specifically, because this is one lady nobody should play with when it comes to this issue of professionalism and matters of political interest. So, ma'am, you are welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Education.
Yes.
A lady of substance. I would like to refer to you as you're one person who, even though married to a very notable politician who was himself a professional, you were also a professional.
Yes.
And you still are. Because they say in medicine you do not retire.
No, you don't.
Okay.
You don't.
Now we're into education.
Yes.
Let's look at it. What do you see of the Nigerian education?
Yes. I come from a family that takes education very, very seriously, both for the girls and the boys. My senior brother was at King's College, went to King's College, J.T. Boyo, who later became secretary to government of the Delta, of Bendel at that time.
Yes.
And of course, my husband too went to King's College at that time, but he was much junior to my senior brother. Okay. But Alex was at the same time. Alex Ekwueme, Alex Boyo, Godwin Boyo. Those were my cousins. These were his Alex Boyo, famous pathologist. Godwin Boyo, the famous lawyer, president, BA, and all that. The father of Mofe Boyo now.
Yes.
So this is the family I come from. They believe very much in education, and I also became incidentally. My husband, when he finished at King's College, I just threw that in, many people didn't know. At the age of 18, 19, he was working before he got the Fulbright scholarship and went to do. He was working at railways. Who was his boss? My late father was his boss at the railways here in Lagos. And my late father brought him home that this is a smart boy working, carried file, come home in the accounts division and came home. And he was encouraged. As you said, my mother was there, looked after him, and he became part of my family. So I did not just get to marry him. I knew him since I was 8 years old.
But
That's my big
the
brother.
love spark didn't strike then.
It came later, but
Okay.
it grew. That's just an aside to
Yes.
put all this. But you see, education is it. I decided at a young, I would say it myself, I was very brilliant in school. I went to Our Lady of Apostles secondary school
That's in Yaba.
in Yaba.
Yes.
I finished 1957 to 1961, and I had my school start grade 1 in those days. So it is and all that,
Wow.
you know. That is,
I envy you.
that is how it was. And even in medical school, College of Medicine, University of Lagos, MBBS honors. The honors is you have not had any, what you say, passovers, do a repeat in September. You have passed all your, and you must have had at least 3 distinctions by the time you are finished. So I had all this. And the only person in my year that has honors, because it's a difficult criteria.
Right.
So I had all this. Even to get to medical school was difficult for me because my secondary school at that time, we were doing only what they call biology and biological science and all that. I didn't have much physics and chemistry. I had to go and get my physics and chemistry to be able to get, because I was determined. My senior brother had just come back from Dublin, you know, from his education and all that. He wants to send me to Ireland to go and do nursing. I said, no, I'm not going to be. I want to be a doctor.
Right.
And by God's grace, I became a
doctor.
doctor. So as I said, it is this education thing has always been, and my husband too was, all he knows is about education, because he grew up from, you know, just from their area in the east, went to school around there, Ekulobia, Oko, and then he got admission to King's College and finished in King's College. His parents were church missionaries, his father and all that, what we used to call the catechists.
Yeah.
They call them church missionaries, go from one place, places they don't have priests. And so it wasn't from and his father died quite young. So uncles and all. And he was here and he got his scholarship, Fulbright scholarship to do architecture in the US, in Washington, Seattle. So he came back and he decided he would set up an educational trust fund. Set up the first architectural, everything is all about education. And we make sure. So, as I used to say, by the time he came over and I became his wife and all, after I just qualified, that is why you see the name Boyo. You see, some men, it is my professional name.
Okay.
Hey, it is, you will say Dr. Helen Boyo Ekwueme. You will say Mrs. Helen Ekwueme. My husband will say, just in case nobody calls me Mr. Boyo Ekwueme, I'm fine. She can use her father's name. And the way we will just say
I would have reacted the same way.
Yes, and the way I will just say it more clearly. I said, do you know, Ekwueme didn't send me to university. This is Boyo. That Boyo name has to be there. I say, you know how it is from where we are in the east over there. Yes. You marry wife, now you go send her and go to university. Now you go pay for all in family. I said, this one, I dey as I dey. My family too, we dey where we dey. Because before Ekwueme came, we dey the Boyo family. We are here too in Nigeria. Anyway, that's just an aside to me. So we take education very, very seriously. And he encouraged me all the time to pursue, to do my specialist program, you know, got me a place to stay and all that, you know. In fact, that time I started having children and all. And I said let me just do pathology. So because I know I have to keep I have to keep this family together. My husband, it's a lot of Nigeria knows, I'm not the only wife he has. And I have other children, which I have to also bring up as my own children. If you were there at my 80th, at the time he was vice president in 1979,
Yes.
what he put at his bio, he said he's married with 8 children, 7 boys and 1 girl
Cool.
at that age.
And that one
So
girl
when
came
you
from
come,
your end.
when you come into this, you are there as a mother. This is our Nigerian culture. This is how it is. This is the family I got into. And I had a beautiful relationship with him. He was a very kind, very generous, and very loyal, and he will encourage you to go as far as you can go. He will even say, okay, you've done this. Why don't you do a PhD and add to this? I say, Abba, the way I've done now, this is enough for me. I've done my postgraduate. I'm now working for government as a consultant pathologist, until chief consultant, until I was heading the whole, we call it laboratory services for Lagos State. That is 36 in all the hospitals.
Whoa.
You have to manage them with about 10 pathologists still under me. That's how, when I retired. But by the time I was retired, everything has gone.
Changed.
He was no longer vice president. They have ill-treated him the way Nigeria ill-treated vice president and president. That is all in the history. He came out, he started all over again. And we built up his architecture. So I too learned. As you see me, I'm into how I want to design my house. They said the leaf and the soap, they have become the same thing.
That's true.
There's nothing a builder will tell me or anything. It's all I have learned too. You see, you continue to learn. So this is just a small background. What is happening with education now is it's unbelievable. Not when we were growing up. I went to secondary school, 1957, and I finished 1963. 1962, 61, 62, 5 years. I finished. Had the best education. I went to College of Medicine here. And then after the 4th year, we used to go, you go and do elective this thing. You can go and do it abroad if you can afford it. Just do 1 year, rotational. You can do 3 months abroad. You can do, and then you come back. We found that the type of teachings we were getting here at the College of Medicine was even superior to what when I was at Royal Free in London. Wow. I did that. I said, they will say, you know all this, you learn. I said, we have to. They said, no, we don't have to learn all this one. This one is the undergraduates. We were that, and we came back and finished up, and education was on. Wherever you graduate, you will get at least to go abroad. I went abroad to do my postgraduate, paid for, salary was continued. This was Lagos State. And they gave you what they call in-service training. Whether you do 4 years, that's how I trained at the postgraduate medical college in Duquesne Road in London, as part of University of London. And I worked at St. Mary's Hospital. Came back here. That time, we all go and train and get further education. And we all come back. Everybody was back. Things were set up. In Louth here, Professor Kuobi was doing heart surgery. They were doing cardiac catheterization. The equipments were all here. I'm talking about in 1973, all that, early 70s and all that. But what happened? These equipments, they came in, they are brought in, maintenance, they won't sign maintenance. Gradually, everything just deteriorates. So nothing, even to what you have to use to teach medical students now. As I said, at least let them see this type of surgery, let them see this catheterization, except they go to private hospitals now. like the Evercare and all these ones are. But the teaching hospitals, the other day I was hearing, oh, they've budgeted so many millions. They are going to do all these repairs at University College Ibadan, for University of Ibadan, for University of Lagos. Every 4 years, any new government, they are budget. Where are these equipments they are supposed to be buying? Where are they? Where is the maintenance? So if these people are not well educated, I'm talking for medicine now.
Yes.
It's all part of education. Of course, you will say they are jackbarring. They want to go abroad. For instance, if whatever little bit they can get, they will be a bit well paid. They are not even well paid. One thing goes to the other. As I said, the people graduating here, where is the job? I'm not talking about medicine now. Where is the job? Okay, the doctors, we don't even have it. Okay, they are here. Are you keeping them here? What equipment do you have in the teaching hospitals that they are going to use to learn? Archaic hospitals that have been there 10 years. You don't know some people in some of these are tertiary institutions, the teaching hospitals. Okay, this government, okay, they budgeted. They buy this big MRI, all these electronic microscope.
Yeah.
All this one. It is there.
But
They have bought it.
It.
To even set it off. Oh, they say the person, they still needs to be paid. They have the...
So,
what
and then
they
it's
need to,
left to...
it is left to rot. So next time, okay, the one they will leave in store. How about the maintenance? You have to maintain these things. You have to budget a lot of money for teaching. And if you budget it, let it be seen, let the things be there. Let there be an inspectorate to make that these things are there and being used. You know, even as medical students, the microscopes that you are using, after 2 or 3 years, they should bring them new ones.
New ones.
And every year, they should come and maintain and service these things. We don't have anything like maintenance culture in this country. Our culture is a culture of buy, so that the money you will do whatever you are doing with the money, the ones you will buy, the one you will pocket, and then the things are there.
So therefore, there's a major issue at stake
Yes.
here. Anytime I do this kind of interview, I'm forced to now go back and look at the rule of law.
Yes.
It appears as if, there's not enough commitment
Yes.
to education,
Yes.
medicine,
Yes.
or even the ordinary rule of law. I say it ordinary because...
Education, medicine, agriculture, everything is just thrown to things that would have brought off people.
Yeah, but
bring up their way of life, their standard of life. Bring them up. They won't have to be fighting now for minimal wage and all that. If they've been prepared, and if the jobs are there, they finish at graduates, they have jobs they can do. There's mechanized farming. All these people, politicians, they all go abroad. The richest people in America, the people that are Americans, the English people, they are there. They are in mechanized farming. They have big farms. Big farms. And you brought it. Would that not have solved all our problem of insecurity in the north? All these arable lands, all this heather farmer problem. Why can't we have ranches? Properly mechanized ranches.
Can we salvage
Leave it out.
Can we
put out the
salvage
equipment.
we
We
salvage
can. We have to put the money and let it be done.
How?
Okay. All the money you give to a governor,
Yeah.
you just give that money. He can't even pay this thing.
For
Let them say this is the amount that we want to put for agriculture. This is the amount, and let it be done. Get this. They go abroad. They see all this. Sort out the land. Portion it out. Give it to these young graduates. Oh yeah, this is whatever you bring in, we will take it up you. Government will take it and they will pay for you. Pay for whatever you have produced.
Right.
You have what we call this marketing board, as I was telling you before we start.
Yeah.
Cocoa marketing board. Rubber. Granite. Everything you bring it. They pay you. You don't have to look for who to buy. That is what they do abroad. All the milk and all that. There's milk bank. Everything is, you don't have to find people to get your milk or to get whatever you are planting and all. This government should do it. They know.
Why don't our policy makers feel this kind of...
We have this policy is to get it done because all the people have written everything. Everything is all there. But
But
to
nobody is
implement
responding.
it, when the money comes, they use it for other things. From head to bottom. I don't want to say the politicians are there. But everything is rotting from even, I'm sorry, civil service, where our parents worked as civil servants and they were so proud. The civil servant feels he's not well paid enough. Everything
there's
there,
no
he
commitment
has
anymore.
to, he won't go and do the approval. Okay, oh, this budget. Should be they talk about budget party. You have to pay this one, this one. Everything is until we know do things properly in this country. And we all know. Those of us, we are this age now, we've seen all this evolution, things going, and things are just going worse and worse and worse. What can we do? We only have to talk like this and be passionate and hope that people hear us.
I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
I tried to smuggle in cost of governance
Yes.
earlier on.
Yes.
I'm bringing it back now.
Yes.
All the houses of assembly in the
Yes.
states
Yes.
and the National Assembly
Yes.
at the center,
Yes.
they're heavily paid. In fact, I am told that the National Assembly in Nigeria is heavier paid than the U.S. Assembly.
Okay.
Or the Congress.
Can I just come?
Yes.
We don't have to go to US. Look at Ghana. What do you have? You have only one house.
Yes.
Do we need to have Senate and House and House of?
You're not the first person saying this.
Do
now
we
you're coming
need to
up with-
have just have one house? Each one of them in Ghana, they are next to us here.
Yes.
You have one car. You are just staying in one small house. Some of them are still staying in. Get a bit. Does one high senator, does it need to have 5 cars? Does he need to have this House of Assembly? Just one, but because you are able to get your way, they've made you honorable. Everybody is honorable and distinguished. Are they distinguished? Are they honorable people? When then people bring budget to them, what is in it for us? What is it? The civil servants have to find a way to put their own, and so that we all know what is happening in this country. It's all rubbish.
So money doesn't really get
Get
channeled
to
into
what
was
it is
meant
supposed
for.
to. So by the time the budget money, by the time they are using it for, half of it has gone to whoever has approved it or whoever has done this. That is what they are talking about, budget padding and all this type of thing. It shouldn't be like that. I don't say it's not happening in Ghana, no, but at least we can even follow, try and do something. Not everybody be so greedy. You can only sleep on one bed. These 10 cars one person is having, does he need to have 10 as personal assistant, senior personal assistant, very senior personal assistant? Okay, job for the boys. What assistant? What are they giving you? Community project. All this money that you set aside, and you say it's for security money, vote. So you cannot account for it. You have to
And
look
yet
after your
security is not
security.
there.
It's not there.
Not there.
The governors, they are very much to blame. And there are very few of them that are they are trying now. I don't want to be personal, but let's just look at the man in Abia. Alex Oti. Alex Oti has been a banker. He's a rich man in his own. Is he going there to enrich himself? No. He has a contribution. Isn't he the one that says he's not going to, or is he the one in Imo? I'm not going to pay pensions for people, ex-governors. Because you've been a governor, you managed to be a governor for 4 years. So they will pay you pension for life. For what? For
True.
what?
Another cost of governance again.
For what?
true.
You've been a after
I hear
governor,
that's
then
also
you go and be
happening in
collecting another money as senator. You go and be senator. You go and be collecting aids.
For life again.
You are used to that type of thing. What is it? Go and find something to do. Somebody, my big brother here in Lagos, Bode George said, what have they produced? What are they so rich? That one I'm going to, even people in private sector, bank, MD, this one, you have become the richest man in the world. What have you produced to make all that money?
Then nobody can actually
everything is just, and then we will watch, then they go and pack money, they go and do all this. The church too will do transparency, nobody. That is why these young people are seeing everything now and they are saying we not go agree again. They just showed us what can happen during the MSAS, a few days. So everybody start getting jittery. Just these 2 days, Labour start they did their own strike here. Everybody is jittery. And we are all jittery. We are all afraid. This is not how this country, look at all, because oil money has come in. At the time, we were getting, in the 50s, 60s, the oil has not come. And this country, my senior brother, JTL Boyo, was representing Bendel.
Yeah.
There were 3 regions, or 4 regions. It became 4. Midwest, sorry. He was representing Midwest as in London. Each one is the marketing, everything was, so there's like a competition. Whatever you can produce. We were doing all this. Okay, we said we met military. Military has come and gone now, 25 years.
25 years.
So we too, we are still running that same unitary.
Okay.
So we can go on and one day talk about all this.
We will look at Nigeria there. Let me take you to the moment.
Yes.
60, 66, 70, 75, 76. 75, 76 was 13 months for Murtala. Then 76 to 79, Obasanjo. 79 to 83, Shagari Ekweme. 83 to 85, Idiagbon.
It keeps getting worse. Go on.
Buhari, Idiagbon. Then 85 to 93, what's his name? Babangida.
After Babangida, Abacha.
Then Abacha.
Then Babangida came back as...
No, Shonekon was 93, 3 months. Then 93 to 98, Abacha.
Abacha came back.
98 to 99, Abubakar Salam.
Abubakar.
Yes. Then Obasanjo came. 99. 2007. Then 2007 to 2000.
We keep having different constitutional conference.
Yes.
We want to restructure.
So I'm looking at the fact that nothing has changed.
Nothing.
In all of these so-called demarcated changes, evolution.
Yes.
So today, with obedience, which was just a year ago, there's a major shift. Now, we're looking at ourselves. Something is staring us in the face. The Naira doesn't seem to be anywhere. We look at Venezuela, we look at Zimbabwe, we're now seeing Nigeria. Where is the hope that the ordinary man will ever find anything?
Renewed hope. Is that not what we are doing now?
Yes.
That we are supposed to be this regime. May 2003 is when this, just let's come nearer here now.
Yeah.
What was your Naira then? I think maybe 400. Where are we now? 3 times seats. It's 3 times seats.
So that's 1,450 or thereabouts.
Even when it come to that 400, 500, we say, how can? From 200, it is before we got to everything just keep going and our Naira is being devalued. They will bring this policy. It doesn't go. They try and do this. I pity this new government. I pity them. But they just have to wake up. They have to wake up and be firm. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I've known him quite a long time. When my husband was 70, he said, Alex, Oga, please come and lead. Oga, you are a Lagos man. This is where you spend your life. He fettered us. He did everything and all that. He's a very cerebral man. But this Nigerian thing, all the people around, he has to satisfy this. Do you have to satisfy all of them? Come up with your policy. Come and tell us. And you said, okay, we should everybody tighten belts. Everybody tighten belt. Don't go and open house for vice president in a very before. It's not you that started it.
Exactly.
It's not you that don't say, okay, I have stopped it. Let it stay there. We're not putting any money. Or even if you open it, don't put it in a very before of these young ones, they are seeing it. You see, that is the thing. They have to understand this. I'll talk, maybe if I have I talk to because we women, Remy is my sister too. We Chekiris, we are very strong women. Remy is there. She's half Chekiris, she's half Yoruba woman.
Yes.
Tell Babana, Remy is doing a lot. Do we need to have an office of first lady? I have nothing against any. We don't need it. You are going to budget all this amount. What is all this amount? Take all this amount. Give these
And we are
people
borrowing
some
on top of
minimum.
them.
Governors say they don't have money to pay minimum wage. Utter rubbish. Utter. Look at our brother in Edo. Paseki just started paying 70.
70.
If they
without
come
even
out
being
with
told.
more, he
Yeah.
will pay. He is he did go there to make money. These are people. I mentioned Alex Oti. I mentioned him. They feel like that. They can still do more. Do more. I have somebody working for me. Am I going to pay them? You know, you just have to look. They have to eat. They have to get transportation. They have to look at all. We are in this same Nigeria. What
So,
are we doing? What's
In fact,
happening
there's
to
no
us?
end to this conversation.
No end, my dear. I can
Honestly.
be very passionate about so
No,
many
I
things.
feel your passion, I must
Yes,
say. And
yeah.
I want to thank you. Well, we've had Dr. Mrs. Helen Toriseju Boyo Ekwebe.
Yes.
I love the bounce of that name.
Yes.
She's our guest on Sunny Rabo Live
Yes.
today. And she's taking us back in time. And, you know, we have looked at things dispassionately.
Yes.
The truth simply is, East, West, home is the best. But come on, what's your commitment to your country, Nigeria? This is her concern.
Yes.
This is why we have been talking the way we have been talking.
Yes.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you
God
very much,
bless you
Nosi.
indeed.